Hello there, and welcome back to another video of the Twilight Wars browser app series. So in this video, we're going to be going over what's new with update 1.23 of the Twilight Wars browser app, and just going over some of the new features and the bug fixes here. Won't be a demo today. Not too much in terms of like new game mechanics that we can't really just say on the screen here. So yeah, let's get into it. So first thing is that there's been a couple of changes to how we are displaying games in summary tabs as well as for completed games and active games. Completed games will no longer show up in the main games page, but instead we've moved those to the profile page. So let me show you what I mean here. If we head on over to games, you'll actually see that there's now only an active tab and a lobby tab, as opposed to previously when we had 3 tabs, where the third tab was a completed games tab. Now if you go into your player profile, you'll actually see that you have a list of games here. So for example, this game here that's now shows up as completed. As you can see, we have one completed game there. And you can also view the game info of that game. So now those completed games will be there instead of back on the main games page. You might have also noticed when I went to the games page, there was a warning message now, and that's because whether most people are aware of this, but maybe if you're not, that all games have a default 2-week inactivity period where they will be automatically deleted if the game is not updated by players. So for example, in this game here, you can see that we now have a warning that the game is going to be automatically deleted within a maximum period of 48 hours due to inactivity because none of the players have been doing anything. So, rather than have to go into the game log and see when that's happening, now you don't have to enter the game. You can kind of just get that information at an immediate glance from your active games tab. Now we've also added in a new email notif. So when you're hosting games in lobbies, you can actually invite more players than the game needs. So for example, if you're playing a 4-player game, you could invite, say you invite 6 players, and the first 3 players to accept, you'd want to start. So now actually you'll be given an email notification if you're the host when enough players have joined to start the game. So that way you don't really have to rely on constantly coming back into the game if you do have email notifications conveniently informing you there. Also now, one of the things, the recommendations we got in user feedback is our direct hit game log wasn't showing which unit was selected, even though it was traceable for the most part, but it's just good to have logs to be as explicit as possible. So now the log will tell you which unit is going to be or was destroyed from that direct hit. A couple of bug fixes. One of them that has been around for a while, and this might not exactly go as rules as written, but I think it's the preferable solution for now, which is that it was the case that when players were trading action cards, that it was possible to abuse the action card limit because the app was not enforcing the limit. So for example, if you had 7 action cards and you, well, of course you need the Emirates of Khan to be in the game, but suppose you had 7 and you received 2 from them. you now be at 9, and the app would allow that. And what we had done is asked players to police themselves up until this point. So now the way it's going to work is that if you are making an action card transaction that would result in either player going over the 7-card limit, then the transaction will be nullified. The game will tell you basically that you can't go through with the transaction. So you might be wondering why we've gone this route, and why not, well, how come when you go over the action card limit, aren't you supposed to be able to do that and then discard action cards, right? Because in every other part of the app, that's what happens. So, for example, in the status phase, let's say you receive 1 action card and you go up to 8. Now the game goes into this timing window where it'll ask you to discard cards until you're now meeting the limit, right? The problem with this is that it really can be an impedance on the flow of the game, and would actually be quite complex, because basically now that maximum action card check would be applicable to virtually every step of the game, because it's conceivable you could trade pretty much at every possible stage in the game, maybe except for status phase, if I'm not mistaken. But say like 2 players are in the middle of a transaction with each other, and now all of a sudden this random substep pops up, maybe in the middle of a combat, that's asking player B, who isn't involved in the combat, to discard an action card. That could cause a bit of a hindrance. So what we've done instead is to just not allow the transaction to go through in the first place if it would result in exceeding the maximum limit. Of course, the one exception to this would be the Yssaril tribes, so they would always be able to go over the limit if they received more than 7 action cards. But this is the path forward we've decided to take for now. Of course, could change in the future. We've done these types of things with a few different game mechanics just to facilitate game flow. And so this is what we're going to do for now. Another bug fix was just with an error message when playing for supply base and transparent steel plating. I think that was one of our bug reports we got. So we fixed that up. And I guess one thing I forgot to mention from the new feature is that we've added more information to the game summaries for active and completed games. So if I go back to my games, we've added the round, the phase, and I think those are the 2 things. Or I think those used to be in the tab beside the game, like in the actual list of games. But now that's embedded inside of the game summary, which I think makes more sense. And this is also true of completed games. So if I go to profile, so you'll also have where the game was finished there. Now, okay, I artificially ended this game, so obviously a game can't end in setup phase, but games usually end in either the action phase or the status phase or agenda phase, right? So you'll be able to see without going into the game where the game ended there, for example. So yeah, that's it for this update. Just some tweaks here with how we're displaying completed games, moving more things to player info, and taking care of one of those long outstanding issues with trading action cards. So another thing to look forward to is we have the winner of the preset map contest coming up in probably a week or two. The guys from the Diplomacy Timing Window are going to be making a summary of that. I think they might have a video coming out, so we'll have a winner for that, and that map will be included probably in the next update, depending on how that works out with timing. So you can look forward to seeing a new map probably very soon in our preset maps, because right now we have Balanced, Resourceful, Abandoned Mechaton, Center of Mass. So that'll bring us a 5th map. Whether it's going to be for every single number of players, like 3, 4, 5, 6, is yet to be determined. Might have to do something like that. We'll see. But at least one new map is on the horizon for new game content. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much going to end it for this video and this update. Thanks again for all your support, and yeah, if you haven't already, the best place to get up-to-date information and communications is to join our Discord, which you can find right here down below at the bottom left when you click this menu. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, if you're viewing this video on the Discord channel, you could also find our playlists on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to us to get up-to-date content. Alright, so enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.